Hi, welcome to MC University On Demand. My name's Eric. I'm one of the design engineers here at Mathews, and today we'll take a look at basic dryer operation on a profile dryer with Pinnacle Lite. We'll look at the appropriate way to start up, run, and shut down a profile dryer. Let's get started. Pinnacle Lite is operated using a hybrid control system, utilizing a PLC and HMI along with traditional relay-based lights and switches. This means that while the HMI is used for monitoring and set point operations, manual switches are used to control the critical aspects of the dryer. This video will focus on what the individual switches are and when they should be used. The startup process is the same on an AccuDry and a TrueDry machine, but in this video, we'll be using a profile AccuDry demo unit. Before you begin, you should go to the high voltage cabinet and make sure that the disconnect switch is in the on position. To start, every switch on the remote cabinet should be in the off position. The first step to starting your dryer is to acknowledge any active alarms. You can do this by going to the Alarms chapter and tapping on the Alarms button to clear active alarms. If any of your CAL controllers are in an alarm state, you can cycle power to the CAL controller by pushing in the high limit and air pressure buttons simultaneously for that burner. This should clear all active alarms except for the master control relay. In order to clear this alarm, we'll turn the control power switch to the on position and then momentarily to the start position. You'll know control power is on if the switch is illuminated. Now, you should turn the fans on before filling the dryer. We recommend you do this to keep the inside of the dryer clean of debris. So, we can go to fan number 1 and turn the switch past the on position over to the start position. If your dryer has multiple fans, you should leave 10 to 15 seconds between fans in order to let the first one get up to speed. This will reduce the inrush current to your site. Having waited for the first fan to get up to speed, we can now turn on fan number 2. Now we'll go to the plenums chapter and verify our plenum set points. If you're unsure what these set points should be set to, you can look in your operations manual for a recommendation. If you're running an AccuDry machine, you'll have to take a look at the right side of the screen at your heat-cool indicators. A red box indicates a heat zone, while a blue box indicates a cooling zone. If you need to toggle these from one to the other, you can tap on the box. You can see in this demo, we have one heat zone and one cooling zone. If you've not already done so, you can now fill the dryer. You can do this by turning the grain fill switch to the manual position. This will tell the dryer to begin calling for grain and to continue to do so until grain gets all the way to the bin switch at the top of the dryer. You'll know the dryer is full when the light is no longer illuminated. Once the dryer is completely filled, go to the gas train and verify that all hand valves supplying fuel to the burner are open. We can now start to turn on our ignition. On a multiple burner dryer, you'll want to start with the bottommost ignition and work your way up. In this case, our first plenum is set to a cooling zone, so we can leave the first plenum in the off position and go straight to plenum number 2. If you're running a low fire machine, you can turn the ignition switch to the low position. This will begin the ignition sequence, which begins with a 7 to 10 second purge, and the switch will illuminate once flame is detected. Once you have flame, you can turn the switch to the high position. If you're running a profile dryer that is not equipped with low fire, you turn the ignition switch from the off position to the on position. You should now turn the grain fill from manual over to auto. This adds a delay timer between the call for grain and when the motor is actually turned on. It'll prevent the motor from toggling on and off quickly and will increase your motor's lifetime. Now, we'll want to look at the HMI and take a look at our discharge mode. You want to make sure that your discharge mode is set to manual. You'll also want to verify your discharge speed set point. If you're unsure where to set this value, you can reference the operations manual for a recommendation. Notice that on this demo unit, the discharge speed is red because there's not a discharge motor attached. On your unit, the discharge speed should be green. Next, go to the Settings chapter and take a look at your alarm set points as well as your operational set points. When you're happy with all of these values, you can turn takeaway on to the dryer. You turn on takeaway by turning the takeaway switch to the start position. This will turn on the takeaway auger or conveyor, as well as any third-party equipment attached to the outlet of the dryer. Depending on what equipment is attached, it may take some time to ramp up to speed. Once the takeaway equipment is up and running, you can turn on the metering. This will start turning the metering rolls and grain will begin to exit the dryer. At this point, the dryer is running. You'll continue to monitor set points and toggle your operating mode from the HMI throughout the day. When you're done drying for the day and it's time to shut down the dryer, you can begin the shutdown sequence by turning off each ignition switch. Some users like to leave the fans and takeaway on for 3 to 5 minutes to let things cool off, but we don't recommend doing this for more than 5 minutes. At that time, you can turn off your metering. You'll want to leave your takeaway on for a few moments to let grain purge out, at which time you can turn off your takeaway and turn off your grain fill. You can now also turn off your fans as well as your control power. You'll notice that when you turn off control power, an alarm will appear. This is normal, just acknowledge the alarm. You may want to reset your cal controllers by pushing in the high limit and air pressure button for each burner. This will prevent nuisance alarms on startup. You've just shut down the dryer in a way that's easy to start up the next day. That's it for this video. Today, we've talked about how to start up, run, and shut down a profile dryer with Pinnacle Lite. If you have any questions or comments or ideas for a future video, you can email us at media@mathewscompany.com. As always, thanks for watching.